Well, welcome back, folks, to the USTA Georgia 2020 awards presentations. And normally we're sitting at the beautiful JW Marriott, enjoying a nice meal. Maegan, right about now, the salads will be coming out. We'd be anticipating Sam Crenshaw's great presentations. Of course, I write all his speeches, so you can blame me for all of that. But unfortunately, we're not there because of the pandemic, but did want to welcome Maegan Kulich, the local league coordinator for USTA Atlanta, who is the 2020 USTA Georgia Local League Coordinator of the Year. Maegan, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm sorry we can't be in person, but this is maybe the next best thing. And you've been at USTA Atlanta now 12 years, right? I mean, that's a long time for someone running the largest local league in the United States. I think some people don't understand that sometimes, that just not in Georgia, but in the whole US. Can you talk about maybe what got you to USTA Atlanta and how you decided to get involved in tennis?
Well, I actually got into tennis because of Chris Walling.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I'm not. He is a good friend of mine, and we have gone way back. And he started working for USTA Atlanta, and we were working in the real estate housing space. And back in 2008, that didn't turn out so well. Right. So he pulled me into USTA Atlanta to work for him as a programs coordinator, and taught me everything he knew. And when he got offered the job at Southern, I took over his role as LLC, and it's just been history from there.
So any truth to the rumor when he hired you, you guys had to negotiate commission rates and all these types of things, or was it a very easy negotiation? There was no inspection, home inspection?
No, nothing like that. No.
Very smooth.
It was very smooth, yes.
Yeah, and folks, Chris Walling, just so everybody knows, is the director of everything, right, at USTA Southern. It has to do with adults, leagues, tournaments, and he does HR too. So kudos to him on that. But what a great person to have mentor you. And so Maegan, this past year was very challenging, right, for everybody, but particularly somebody like you in your position. Can you talk about some of the challenges you faced, and in particular the great idea you came up with the singles ladder, just to try to keep tennis going and relevant in Atlanta?
Sure, absolutely. Well, the singles ladder actually was something that we had gotten the ball rolling with in January, and it couldn't have come at a better time, honestly, because when the pandemic hit, everything shut down, of course, and in June, when things were getting back up and running again, we still were having a lot of hesitancy from players to want to play team matches and play in any kind of doubles play or anything like that. So the singles ladder really was our saving grace right away, because we were able to put a product out there that allowed people to get out on the court and play when they were comfortable playing. So basically it's set up as an activity-based ladder. So it's not a challenge ladder in the typical sense. And so the more you play, the more points you get. And people really loved it. They latched onto it really quickly. We had several registrations actually before the shutdown occurred. And then when we reopened, the registrations really took off. And it's been something that's gotten people back on the court, gotten them a little bit more comfortable. And as facilities started opening again, that helped us to get our league program up and running again. That was probably our biggest challenge on the league side of things, was the city courts, the public tennis courts being shut down, and even a lot of neighborhood
continues to be.
Yes. And a lot of neighborhood HOAs even weren't allowing tennis to happen on their courts. They were taking down the nets and keeping people completely off the court, even midway into the summer. So it took until about the fall season for us to start seeing a little bit of a rebound in participation and people not being as concerned about getting out and playing again. But it was a really rough time there for, obviously during the shutdown, but even right after we got started again, we were really tested. And I think it's great though. I mean, tennis is such a wonderful sport to have an option to play in a situation like this and what we're going through. And people really quickly got their way back to it. So I was happy to see that.
And one of the things that I've been so impressed with you, particular over the years, not just your approachable nature and your positive attitude. I mean, the level you're at UST at this Community Tennis Association level, you're kind of at the whim of things going on above you. And we try to minimize that here at the state level, but then of course we have the section and of course national. So I understand there were a few national regulations that came down last year after you had already started play, which I guess is somewhat normal given the calendar in Atlanta. But can you talk about the challenge there and maybe what was the strategy to mitigate? Because you're excellent at that. In fact, we're going to make sure every year you have to handle this kind of thing. So
Oh no, please. Really, you don't have to do that. Yeah, we very often have to change things on a whim with our summer season in particular because of the way our calendar falls. Right. And we had opened registration, and honestly, I think we'd actually even closed registration by the time, or just about to close registration when National decided to do away with the plus levels, and then just create an open level for basically the higher rated players, right. the 5-0s and up. And so that was tough. I had teams that had already registered and players already on teams that, you know, we had to move some things around. We had to really talk some people off a ledge of not wanting to play USTA anymore. You know, that's probably the biggest struggle, is when things come down from the top that people automatically assume is something that I did, a decision I made. And you know, I have to explain to them, if you want to keep tennis going in Atlanta, and if especially at your level, the worst thing you can do is stop playing. Right. You know, we will create opportunities for you to play, and that's the best way to keep this moving. Stopping play just means fewer teams. It means people lose interest. So you know, when people are only playing one other team over and over again, that's no fun. So it was a lot of talking people off ledges there for a minute, especially the higher rated players, because they already are limited in their options.
And I guess in Atlanta, we're pretty blessed because we have so many very high level players that like the competition still. A lot of former college players happen to live in this great city, and I'm sure you see a lot of them in the leagues, and all of them say that not just their rating is 4.550, that's actually their GPA in school. I'm not sure that's correct, but we have a good time. So other than Susan Pearson, Chris Walling, who are your biggest tennis influences out there? Do you have anybody else that's helped you along the way that you want to give a little shout out to?
Well, you know, honestly, yeah, I have a ton of influences. Dave Bain at USTA Georgia. I don't know what I'd do without him most of the time. Don't tell him I said that, but
you won't watch this. Don't worry.
But no, I mean, he really took me under his wing, especially, you know, after Chris moved on to USTA Southern, and he only laughed at me sometimes when I'd ask stupid questions. Right. So he you know, he really has been a lifesaver for me on many occasions, and it's nice knowing I have his support and I can always go to him with anything I need. And so that's been great. It's been great to have him along the way. And I would say probably Chris Bryce, our former executive director, that to be able to work for him and have his knowledge and his experiences, it was an honor. So he really has impacted me and how I do things and how I look at things. You know, before he came along, I think my way of looking at a lot of the way things are done was totally different, and he really opened my eyes to a lot. So yeah, those are probably my two favorites.
No, I was blessed to work alongside Chris for a while. And of course, he's now back at UST North Carolina and doing fantastic. So we really appreciate his efforts. So Maegan, I do have a little award here. I know it's hard to give it to you. Now we will get this to you in due course, but for the people at home, it does say 2020 UST Georgia Locally Coordinator of the Year, Maegan Kulich, spelled correctly, A before E. Got to make sure that's right. But in all seriousness, you know, congratulations on not just this past year, but your 12 years of incredible service to USTA, us and USTA Atlanta. And just want to thank you for all you, and you can't leave. You still got to work. This
Yes.
isn't something we're going to say, hey, sorry, thanks, great job. But in all seriousness, congratulations on this honor.
Well, thank you, Darren. I appreciate it. We have a great team at USTA Atlanta. I definitely did not do this by myself. So definitely want to give a shout out to all of my coworkers at USTA Atlanta.
Well, folks, that's Maegan Kulich, our 2020 USTA Georgia Local League Coordinator of the Year. Unbelievably well-deserved honor for her. We want to thank her for joining us today. Thanks for watching.